It's Monday, the lock and load time, and apparently the Iranians are talking through their Houthi Yemeni proxies, and they're letting their silkworm Chinese silkworm missiles do the talking. They took a they took a couple shots. Jesus, the ads come on right away. um, so, that's what happens when you listen to the ads on your own channel. So anyway, they shot a couple of missiles at the USS Mason, uh, guided missile frigate, Aegis radar system. Um, Basically, it was in the Red Sea, and there's a few U.S. ships there, and the Red Sea is kind of boiling over. Last week or two, the same rebels or whatever the Houthi Yemeni faction shot up a United Arab Emirates naval vessel and did hit it. Fortunately for the United States, otherwise you probably would have heard it in the regular news cycles, both of these missiles missed. So I don't know if that's because of electronic countermeasures or they just didn't didn't know what they were doing. Uh, you would think they would have Iranian advisors slash military to shoot these missiles because I'm sure they're not cheap anti-ship missiles. They're upgraded version. They used them against Israeli ship in Lebanon, off in the Mediterranean. They hit an Israeli ship frigate. Actually, I think they have all corvettes. I don't think Israel has anything much bigger than a corvette. Um, this I'll give you the details on this particular ship that I've got screen shared. But speaking of the United Arab Emirates, while I punch up the details on this ship, they made a bid to buy 25% stake in Deutsche Bank for all you silver gold bugs out there. So maybe it's just somebody in the UAE wants to one up Abu Dhabi. They're in the United Arab Emirates also. Abu Dhabi's like the old money, Wall Street. It's like old money compared to like Dubai and the other more newer Emirates there. But anyway, so let's talk about the Mason that they fired 2 missiles at it. Let's see. Basically, this is the 9th ship of the upgraded Arleigh Burke class of Aegis, if I pronounced that right, AEGIS guided missile destroyers, making her one of the most sophisticated ships sailing the seas, which tends to lead me to believe that they had countermeasures that work. So while Hillary and Trump were out there on the stage debating stuff, these guys were under fire. So in the Red Sea. And, this is a proxy war. So if you can just imagine what's going to happen if, there's a real shooting war with Iran. So this is just a proxy war. And betting that probably Iran is betting that Obama won't do anything, if they just keep missing anyway, even if they hit a U.S. destroyer. That's a pretty clear message if they were to actually hit the ship. Let's see. This ship has a helicopter hangar, so they have 2 light airborne multi-purpose system Mark III SH-60 Seahawk helicopters, and basically they have a phased array radar system. That's the Aegis weapons system. But they're basically probably just patrolling the Dab al Mandab Straits there. That's a little island from the entrance to the Indian Ocean slash Arabian Sea into the Red Sea. And, exercising naval, freedom of this navigation of the sea there. And I think Iran wants to just make it into their own little choke point, bottleneck, where they can, control who through their proxy who can enter and leave. So basically, this ship took some two Chinese missiles fired at it. Basically, the Chinese missiles that they bought from China, and then Iran did some upgrades to them. They, as I said last week, in the last week or two, they took out a United Arab Emirates naval vessel, and in the past, they took out an Israeli corvette off of Lebanon. So you just can imagine what would happen to the economy if a shooting war starts. Other interesting happenings is that the Saudis and this is the whole thing. This is a proxy war. I think I did a live hangout on the wings over the Gulf or wings over Arabia about a year or so ago when the Saudis started bombing the Yemenis, the Houthis over there in Yemen. And, basically the Egyptians are getting, into it. And the Saudis army and the Air Force, they bought a ton, or like that, what is it, $3 billion of U.S. bombs. So, and of course, Obama, I guess they must have hit the State Department is upset that the Saudis, I think, hit some open air market with U.S. weapons. I mean, they bought mostly air to ground missiles and bombs from laser guided bombs and from for the Saudi Royal Air Force from U.S. defense contractors like Raytheon, and so there was like a $3 billion foreign arms sale, and so. Again, I guess they don't like pictures on the news of dead civilians. I mean, nobody does. But it's a war zone, man. So they were U.S. weapons that did that. So obviously, it was the Saudi Royal Air Force, whether intentionally or by accident, targeted some place that didn't look very good on the news feed. So. War sucks. It's just like, but there's all these proxy wars all over the Middle East, and it's just if the U.S. and if one gets kind of upgraded where the U.S. or Russia start shooting, then you can just imagine what's going to happen to the stock market, the bonds, and the economy, and price of metals. So, teetering on the edge of disaster is where the economies are. But and teetering on the edge of wars. I mean, there are actual shooting wars going on all over the Middle East right now. So, and they're shooting at the U.S. Navy, who has been, we have less and less ships all the time. Obama has, cut the Navy. I think we're down to like 300 ships. That are active in active service. So let's see. So this is an Arleigh Burke, guided missile destroyer, basically. And I guess if you have family and friends serving on that ship, you probably are in the Navy. You're probably not too happy that the Iranian proxies are taking pot shots at you. I guess they're trying. Iran must be trying to just seize control over the Red Sea. That's obviously the way that people, go enter and leave the Suez Canal. So they just want to stick their hands into everything. I'm not a big fan of Iran. Goes without saying, but not exactly a big fan of this administration either. If somebody could actually tell me what their Middle East policy was, I mean, I'd be happy to listen to whatever they thought it was. But if Hillary's response in the debate seems to blame everything on Russia, and she wants to stand up to Russia, whatever that means, I mean, you can count on a quick economical demise of the Western world. And moving on to more current events, there's Turkey signed a deal with Russia to end the food embargo from Turkey and for a gas pipeline through the Black Sea, uh, through Turkish waters and basically through Turkey, uh, for gas, a gas pipeline, and then to Russia through Russia to Europe. So I don't know if that's for the Israeli gas fields, because I think Europe didn't want to buy gas through Turkey uh, from Israel or something, but now they don't mind buying it from Russia. So, even though I think it's going to be the same gas from the offshore gas fields in Israel. But anyway, so what have I been doing this week? After, let's see, the Fox uh, company prepping, I pulled out the GearBest Chinese jungle survival knife. It's like an SE3 knockoff, and I started making some wood tinder, and wound up with a pretty good pointy stick from just whittling the wood down for tinder, and it make it either a great camping stake, tent stake, or a tent stake for tie line, or could make a punji stick out of it, or a small spear. Uh, I'd have to probably fire harden the wood, but you can make some pretty nice uh, primitive weapons with that. I wouldn't want to get stabbed with it or step on it or fall into a pit full of these things stuck into the ground. But basically, like I said, I was just filling a baggie full of tinder dust for fire starting for my kit, hiking kit, mission bag, and bug out bag. What else has been up? Waiting to see Madras Arsenal's ice block chopping test of a Skukri. That should be interesting. What else? Watching the debate. Got a new. Okay, I'm upgrading my medical bag. I don't know if anybody who is listening has watched the. I did a medical bag unload, kind of just what's in my medical bag, and basically it was the main problem with the bag was that it was a cheap Chinese bag, and I've upgraded the stuff in it over time, and I need to do one more upgrade of the purchase. But I got a new bag. It's a Rush Lima bag, and it has carry straps, and it's pretty big. I could put a lot of food and medical supplies in it and carry it. Instead of, say, like a regular bag. So, or whoever would be carrying this medical bag, I'm pretty much dedicating it for medical supplies and freeze dried food and stuff like that. It has carry straps, and it's a Rush Lima. So that's going to be. I'm going to come do a update at some point in the future, as I just need to get a few more things. Since it's a bigger bag, I'm going to buy more stuff for it, but more medical stuff that I think I saw an Iraq Vet 888 video with a skinny medic, and he looks like he had a pretty good sight and some interesting items that it would be wise to add to my medical bag before the shit really hits the fan. So let's see about this ship here that we're looking at. Mason is armed with Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, over-the-side torpedoes, vertically launched ASROC Tomahawks, and standard missiles. Mason is armed with a Mark IV Mod 3 5-inch 62 caliber gun, and so that gun enables Mason to provide long-range naval surface fire support. It can handle different ammunition types, including the extended range guided munitions round. They have letters, alphabet letters, soup for letters for all this stuff. Ergum. Okay. It's got 4 quick response General Electric gas turbine engines and 2 controllable pitch propellers. And top speed is faster than 32 knots. That's pretty fast for a big ship. 3 Allison 501 gas turbine generators And check this out. It has 2 reverse osmosis water purification plants that can produce 24,000 gallons of fresh water per day. That's a hell of a lot of fresh water per day. I just got one under the sink thing, but got a GE reverse osmosis under the sink. Anyway, let's see. It's part of the Atlantic Fleet, assigned to Commander Destroyer Squadron 2, and its home port is in Norfolk, Virginia. So, the Navy's getting down to not enough ships, but in my opinion, it's less than 300 ships, and a lot of the ballistic missile subs are way past their service life time, and they have problems that you don't want to have ship construction, problems. You don't want to have the ship fail, like a mile underwater, and that's basically part of the nuclear triad. Ballistic missile subs, for that mutually assured destruction if somebody launches a nuke at us. But I hope whoever the next president is, he makes the Navy a priority, and because I don't think 300 ships is enough. Whenever we go down, all the wars seem to start when the Navy has let the fewest ships, a really low amount of ships at sea. Then that's when the wars usually start, because nobody attacks a strong United States. They wait till, we're weak. But anyway, so I don't know what else everybody's up to. Let's see. Check out some stuff here. What's going on? Not too much. So let's see. Ammo. Let's see. I did hit the gun shop. I actually did pick up some Ballistol. They actually had it in stock, which is amazing because the TSA rules don't. You have to ship that stuff on a boat, which means it has to be on a pallet with some ammunition. So because you can't ship it via air, it's like considered a hazardous material. I don't know why, but because it's like almost edible. They used it for gun firearm lubrication in the Army in World War II. Anyway, so I'm going to be heading out to the range this week. So look for some range video coming up. What else? I've been having fun with the Zombie Glock. Got Halloween coming up. Have to think of something fun to do for Halloween. Let's see what else. I don't have any real purchases planned. I picked up a little extra silver, not much. Canadian maple leaf. Finally got here. The post office sent it to the hurricane in Florida. Instead from it says first they sent it from Vegas, accept the package, then they send it to the Orlando, Florida, where the hurricane was, and finally made its way to my box here in Hawaii. So I'm looking at a Canadian maple leaf. Anyway, add it to the stash for when silver is worth, 50,000 an ounce. God knows when that'll happen. So let's see. I'm going to read this stuff from the Debka file, but Yemeni Houthis fire 2 Iranian-made missiles at U.S. destroyer and miss. So for the first time in 2 years, the rebels Saturday fired on an American vessel launching. So they didn't even talk about this. And this was on Saturday, and the debate was on Sunday, right? Jeez. Yemeni Houthi rebels Saturday fired on an American vessel launching 2 missiles at the U.S. guided missile destroyer, USS Mason, which was patrolling international Red Sea waters just off the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. That's like the little strait in between the Indian Ocean and the Red Sea. Both missiles impacted the water before reaching the ship. Pentagon spokesman Captain Jeff Davis said, "There were no injuries to our sailors and no damage to the ship." The failed attack came a week after the United Arab Emirates vessel was badly damaged by a missile launch from Houthi-controlled Yemeni shore, following which two U.S. destroyers, the Mason and Nitze, were deployed to the region, along with the float forward USS Ponce staging base. Right. The UAE never disclosed the extent of the damage to their vessel or the number of casualties. The Yemeni surgeons have been armed with a Chinese-made C-802, NATO-named CSSN-8 anti-ship missiles upgraded by Iran as part of Tehran's proxy bid to seize control of the strategic Red Sea Strait. The same missile fired by Hezbollah in 2006 crippled the Israeli Navy's Hanit at the outset of the Second Lebanese War. Monday, a strike on mourners in Sana'a killed up to 140 people, prompting a U.S. review of its support for the Saudi-led coalition battling the Houthis. So the guys that shot at us, those aren't the people we're mad at. We're mad at the Saudis. All right. Well, no wonder they might sell all the U.S. bonds, dump all the U.S. Treasury bonds at the market. Our policy makes absolutely no sense. It's Obama's policy. I mean, I don't think he has one, but anyway, hung out at the jacuzzi today, went in the pool for a bit, recycled some aluminum cans. Nothing major, really. I've been slowly stacking up canned and freeze-dried foods, in case something does go, south in the international world and the economy. More south than it already has, anyway. So I think I'm going to stop that screen share anyway. Get onto the beautiful picture of my Glock, the zombie Glock. Let's see. Silver prices have been going nowhere, pretty much sideways. I think that UAE bid for 25% in stake in Deutsche Bank is, I don't understand it at all, why they would do that, but it's like grabbing a falling knife. So anyway, we'll see. They must have their reasons for it. UAE is a very oil rich, and they have their own motivations. Things look different from the Gulf, I imagine. Maybe they want to have some control over German banks or European banks, make them feel part of the team or gang or whatever. I don't know. It's hard to figure out their motivations. It may just be a straight business play. Wouldn't surprise me if they figured out a way to make money off of doing this. But that's a lot of stock, 25% of Deutsche Bank. So it'll cost them a pretty penny. And Deutsche Bank, it's that their derivative exposure is so flipping high. It's like if it's 55 trillion, and the bank only has $1 trillion in assets, the whole thing could just collapse anyway. They lose their 25% stake, which is what I don't understand, why anybody would want to be involved in Deutsche Bank. But see, the pound, they had the flash crash. The English pound went down 6% in like 2 seconds last week, and the end of the week. And here we are, just seeing what shoe drops next. Meanwhile, I haven't changed my, buying. I'm still in the buying silver and gold mode whenever I can afford it, which is not that often, but do the best I can. And let's see. And I don't know what anybody else is prepping, but I've got all the guns I need for now, plenty of ammo, some freeze-dried food, bit of silver and gold. I'm going to be working on my medical kit next, and after a little bit of range time. So this has been your Monday lock and load update. Hope things are going well on the rest of the world. So stay tuned to the channel. Should have some range video coming up in the not too distant future. All right, White Volcano Squad signing out.